is in the line yellow, and Aussie red gold, my two yellows favorite from Daniel Smith. They're very also very bright and very good in mixing. And after I use them also on this painting, and after drying, they looks like very good.
Thank you so much for joining Victoria and I today. We're gonna get to look at another artist who her watercolor. So we've been talking about watercolor artists and interviewing them and learning so much about how they live their life and how they paint beautiful things. We hear their wonderful journey of life. And without any further ado, I want to introduce my wonderful and beautiful friend, brand ambassador of Daniel Smith, Victoria. How are you, Victoria?
Hello, Gabriel, and thanks a lot for inviting me and this talk, watercolor talk. And it's a pleasure for me. And a few words about me. I'm Victoria Grigorieva, is a professional artist based in Kiev, Ukraine. Graduated the National Art School and then the Ukrainian National Academy of Fine Art. After graduating, was served as the head art director for the Ukrainian women's magazine, Natalie, and after held the same title in the women's magazine. And recently, I'm mainly engaged in creativity and teaching. I have been teaching art for over 10 years. And I'm founder of the Watercolor School, Victoria Art School in Kiev, Ukraine. Founder of the international festival Mini Watercolor Kiev. This year, founder the International Watercolor Festival Freedom Ukraine to support Ukraine in this terrible war. And I'm happy and grateful to artists from the whole world, 34 countries, artists from 34 countries support Ukraine in our way for freedom. And also I am country leader of Fabriano and Aquarello, country leader of Urbino and Aquarello, and as you said, brand ambassador Daniel Smith. Yes, thank you. And participated in numbers of the international biennales, exhibitions, international and national workshops. And I want to talk you that art is my life, and it's so natural for me to be in art, to live in art. And I was painted from my childhood, and I still in the process of growing and discovering new in art. Now I prefer watercolor, but I painted and developed different arts engraving, acrylic, oil, but from childhood, the watercolor was my favorite technique, and it's inspiring me, and it's nice technique, and I studied at the graphic design department and encouraged also digital art. And I know that contemporary art is evolving into a digital space, and it opens up many new possibilities for creativity and self-expression, of course. And I like it and interested in it. But when I worked about 17 years in digital space, I missed my real paper, my brushes, paints, and I returned to them. And maybe I will show you some of my paintings.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. I like to paint a lot on plein air and often in my studio. A lot of landscapes, cityscapes, portrait also, and naturemort, and all. When I choose what I want to paint and just my feeling now, I want to see some light or some color, what inspired me, and then it's on my paper. And this is the winter landscape.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. This is our city, my native city, Kiev, Ukraine, and life in Kiev with a lot of cars, traffic.
These are full sheet paper.
This is not full sheet. This is half sheet.
Oh, half sheet.
Before the war, I prepared to paint full sheet, but now I haven't so much a lot of energy to paint full sheet during this press and stress about year. It's difficult for me as an artist, and I can paint smaller paints. Half sheet is good.
Half sheet's great.
Yes, this was from my holidays in Slovenia.
Lovely.
This is the street of Fabriana.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Look
I
at
like
that glow.
Fabriana street. It's very beautiful. This also half sheet, and it was exhibited in Fabriana and Aquarella last year. But this was plein air in Budapest. Yes, in big size plein air sheet.
What is that?
Also plein air in Slovenia, in the port. This red boat. This is near my home, the big river Dnieper in Kiev. And this was in springtime, but it's parent to this part. It's also landscape. I'll show you some flowers. This is peonies in botanical garden.
Wow. Amazing.
I like to paint flowers also. This is magnolia.
Wow.
Also plein air rose. Yeah. Also roses in plein air. And of course with Daniel Smith paint, because this color so bright only with Daniel Smith.
And which paper?
I like to discover different papers and different textures, hot press, cold press, but my favorite maybe is rouge and rough, and I prefer Winsor & Newton rough paper and Sanders Watercolors. Yes, this is my cat. I have very beautiful Siberian cat, and he posed me, and I painted him. He's also with the beautiful blue eye. Yes, very cute.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. When I painted here, always near me, and and he helped me. Yes, to take a good mood. And of course, I did a lot of sketches, portraits with nature. This is my son, my husband, and the daughter of my best friend, and some artists. We painted each other. Some sketches on Fabriana is Thomas Schaller with his dog now.
With Otis.
Yes. and a couple of in Rome cafe, some sketches. And when I studied my students, I talked to them that they need to do some small sketches, composition sketches, black and white, and after black and white color small sketch before they start paint on the big size. And it's good for them. For the composition, for tonal growing, and also from our studies. But I miss my school now because now in the war, my school only online. We needed to move in different city from Kiev. It was dangerous to stay in Kiev, and I still not in home, and my school work only online now. But we're trying to paint, to be in creativity, to be all, to still alive in this situation. And what else? What else do you know?
Yeah, could you tell us what is most rewarding to paint watercolor?
You know that watercolor is one of the hardest technique. I think that acrylic and oil is not so hard technique for the beginners because they can't to fix something to return, and watercolor. But I always talk to my students that they don't need to afraid watercolor because the happened that they need to take another paper, and that's all. That's all horror. So and watercolor is my favorite technique. That I told you that I have had different periods of my artistic life with engraving, digital, pastel. It was a big period of my pastel paintings, oil acrylic, but watercolor was always been a great love of mine, and I have always returned to it. And I see great horizon for growth and development in watercolor. And it intrigued me and so interesting. And I love the experiments in watercolor. And so great to do, to find new textures, to see how the watercolor guided you. I think this is such a wonderful past and life in it. And now we have a lot of new tips and new materials from our great art suppliers, from Daniel Smith, a lot of new materials to grow in watercolors. And I will show you my big paintings when I use this is my theme of war. It's the beginning, it's called horror, the start of the war. But in this watercolor, I use watercolor ground, and I you will see it's look like an oil or acrylic. It's a lot of different textures when I use, and
what you're talking
also,
about is this here.
yes.
Watercolor
Yes.
ground. You use
Yes,
this with
I
watercolor.
use watercolor. Yes, I use watercolor ground on this also. In this, on the background, also I use the watercolor ground, and I use watercolor with granulations. And it's so interesting, yes, to develop this. And this also my experiments with watercolor granulations. I did this series, this all watercolor, and not only black, it's to different violet, green, blues colors, and all with granulations. And of course, it's I'm very grateful to Daniel Smith for their develops in these new materials. And for us, for artists, it's so great, so interesting to use them. And I will show also my brushes. It's different brushes. This is the collection of my brushes, Chinese. From China. When I was in China, I bought a lot, and I very like to paint them. This is red wolf. This is a bear. Of course, I also like, this is squirrel flats. You will see. This is also, this is the Chinese. And this is from Korea Heron. You know this brand. I have a lot of brands. It's very good brand. This is gold. And of course, I have a lot of mops, different sizes. Of course, it's very good. Liners and and very good new.
Oh yeah, the
Yes,
stick.
sticks of Daniel Smith. Yes, and I like to paint with them. And also a different way to paint, and I can draw at first, and then washing this and paint this on wet, and it's so interesting. Of course, I have my Daniel Smith palette. Yes.
Mine has your
Yeah,
signature from Fabiano.
yeah, great.
Do you
And
want
of
to
course,
tell
it
us
was,
about your colors? Your 18 colors that you picked?
yes. It was difficult to choose only 18 favorite colors because I like to experimental, and I like to different couples of no, of course, French ultramarine, it's a based color in my palette, and in Daniel Smith in it's very bright and very natural, and I like it in combination in different another paints. It's very good in combination, and after it's dry, it looks like very good on paper. Cobalt teal blue. And I like this color also in mixing, and to use this color in the shadows. And after like a glazing, after in the shadows, this color look like very good. And phthalo blue turquoise for painted yes, phthalo blue turquoise, yeah. It's very good to paint seaside. It's also very good to mixing. When I try the new color, I don't try only on the white paper to see how it look like. For me, I need to mix it with my usual palette in my painting, and after I I better understand this pigment, how it's connecting with another paints, how it's after the drying looks like. It's very important for me as an artist. And yes, my two favorite greens of Daniel Smith is Cascade Green and Serpentine. Serpentine Green. They are two shadows in one pigment, no, in one paint, and it's very good look likes, and with granulation, and I like them. They're not so bright, but very natural green. Lavender also, it's my basic palette. I use it all my mixing and also in shadows.
I love lavender.
Yes, and wisteria, the same. Wisteria I use more in landscape also, and in my flowers paintings, I use it a lot. Imperial purple, it's my love. Yes. I found it and I saw when Thomas Schaller on his demonstration used Imperial Purple, because before I tried a lot of purples and I was not sure, yes, that it's good or not good, or I mix better, because I love to mix purples. And this Imperial, this is perfect in like one color in mixing. It's wonderful, not so bright, it's natural, and looks very good. And yeah, I recommend it, this color, of course, and this in my usual palette. And also Rose Mother. Rose Mother, very good pigment, very good in skies, in the evening sky when sun shining, and in mixed, very natural warm red. I like it a lot.
That's Rose Madder Permanent.
Yes, yes, and the same, the Hinacridon Rose. They are two my favorite rose model and Hinacridon Rose, my favorite roses. Of course, I use the Hinacridon Purple maybe, and some of Hinacridons for my peonies, but in still lifes, when I painted garnets, Hinacridon Rose, it was perfect, wonderful color. Pyrrole Red. Pyrrole Red and Pyrrole Orange, it's my very long love, some years. Yes, they are very strong, very bright. And I like these colors. You saw it in my red box in plein air, and it's in street styles. So in this painting, I use Pyrrole Orange, Rose Mother. You will see on this background. And it's very good in landscapes, also in evening skies. And is in the line yellow and Aussie Red Gold, my two yellows favorite from Daniel Smith. They're very also very bright and very good in mixing. And after I use them also on this painting, and after drying, they looks like very good. Then Alvaro Fresco Gray. Yes, it's gray with a few violet in shadow, and I like it. I don't like to use in paintings in landscape like this black, the pure black. I use maybe this Alvaro fresco in the shadows, and my lunar violet. And lunar black I used a lot in this my serious paintings for the great granulation. But in this, the shadows and granulation, I use lunar violet mostly, a little lunar black, but mostly lunar violet. And I use a lot of mixing lunar violet like not black only, but I used mostly lunar violet. And moon glow, it's very good also in shadows. It's from one tube, we see 2 or 3 pigments on our palette on wet, and looks like very beautiful. The greens and rose after the gray. It's very impressive.
Yeah, you also have one other one I like is Moon Glow.
Yes, in the sky, in the shadows, and but you need to be very careful because it's very strong pigments, strong rose and strong blues when it's wet on wet, when it's pushed. But it's very deep and very good color.
Very nice. How important is water and watercolor?
Of course, it's very important, and only when you feel it, good feel, how will be wet or no wet your paper, how will be wet your brush, or it can be dry. I use a lot of dry the corners of these Chinese brushes for the textures, for factures, and of course it's for me, because I painted watercolor from my childhood. It's just a big time that I every day test how it will be my brush, and how much will be water in the brush, in the paper. I look like I take my paper for different techniques, wet on wet. We need sometimes I paint wet on wet when the paper wet from the both side. Sometimes wet on wet when my paper wet only one side, and for different my my imagination, what I need to do in this painting, and I need it to decide before, to think about it. It's a lot of work in my mind. Before I start my painting, I need to decide what I need, and after I will control the water and the pigment of my palette and on my brush.
Some students, they want to know how can they avoid mistakes with watercolor.
Oh, sometimes you don't need to fix mistakes. Sometimes you need to relax and to have a fun with watercolor. And if you don't like this part of paper or on a corner of your painting, you need to take another paper. Don't fix it, because the watercolor don't like a lot of fixing. And it looks like hard, dirty, not good. watercolor better looks like when it's light, when you have a lot of light, fun. Even if I painted it 1 month, for example, this need to looks like that I painted it in 10 minutes in very light and very good. I think just work every day for the beginner students to work a lot every day and
Yes,
to have
yes.
and to have fun and find themselves in it. Just when they work every day, then will know how watercolor push, how its pigment look like in this part in the dry paper, on in the wet paper, and how much will be water on the need for this painting.
Very nice.
They need to feel it themselves.
Yes.
If I told them every day that say okay, but after, oh, I don't know. I told them you need try every day, and then only then you will find how the way this how you fix or not fix.
Yes. And can you said a little bit about drawing. How important is drawing?
Drawing is very important. Is the basic rules for new. Of course, a lot of tips for only how it's a watercolor glazing, or how we will paint wet on wet on these different textures. But if you don't have in your hands drawing, if you, I started at my art school for 13 years. And every day our teachers told to us, you need to paint sketches. Every day, 20 sketches. And we needed to take to the lessons our everyday sketches. If I paint every day and every day sketch and sketch, my hand and my mind remembered this better, and my hand after with not only my pencil or pen, with my brush. It's like a muscle remembering in my hands. Now in my brushes I can put my strokes on this part, not in the something when I need to fix. Just in right way.
Very nice. And the other question people want to probably know, are you a fast painter or a slow painter?
It depends of I can paint very fast and I can paint slowly, but I can't paint 2 months or half a year for mobile painting. No, it's not my way. But I can paint very fast, like these sketches on the beach, or this plein air. This may be 20 minutes. This may be longer, half an hour. I can paint a day. One session, mine is 1.5 hours. Then I need to drink some tea, coffee, sweet, and I can paint half hour and half more or not. But not 5 or 6 hours a day. I haven't so energy for this. I put my energy on this the 1 hour and a half, and I need to relax. But when we were in India with Fabriano and Aquarella leaders in event, one of the organizers, Rajat, asked me to do a demo for the on the stage for the government of this Indian department, John Cart, and he told me, Victoria, it must be fast demo about 20 minutes. Okay, Raja, 20 minutes, okay. Not so big, and then before the this demo, in a half hour, he told me, oh, the government have no time, only 5 minutes demo. And I did. It was a sketch with a portrait of Indian girl in the national dress. And I did this demo in 5 minutes, so I can paint so fast. Yes.
I hope they bought it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a wonderful story.
This painted, this full size, it's maybe was 2 days of my 1 hour and a half session with this paint. So
that's great. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put down in the description for everybody to go to Daniel Smith's page to see. They have videos that you've done for Daniel Smith. And where can people connect with you?
I will give email and also Facebook and Instagram. Yes.
Wonderful, because I think some people might want to get a hold of you and buy some of those paintings because those are amazing, beautiful paintings. And I would like you to reach out to Victoria because she does a art competition once or twice a year. And so follow her. I got to be in one of her shows online, and I was very happy to be the only one from the US in her show. And so, but please reach out to Victoria. Thank you so much, Victoria. I appreciate you doing this interview. I know many, even women out there, are going to be inspired to paint watercolor. There are many other people that who might be struggling, having a hard time painting again, and I think you're going to give them hope. So thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Gabriel, for inviting me. And I was happy to see you, to talk with you. And I very appreciate you for this invitation in this our horrible time for Ukraine to talk about watercolor, about art, and I think that the time will be better for traveling for us to see each other in events and also, excuse me for my English, it's not my native language, you know, but I try to talk all about my watercolor tips that I know.
No, this was wonderful. Your work speaks many words and many energy and many just beautiful experiences. You don't have to apologize for your words. We got to see your amazing brushes, and wow, it was such an honor that you went over your dot card. Thank you so much. And so we will see you guys in the next video. And thank you for joining us today. Have a good day. Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.